Show me the way, show me the way. I've been out here feeling lost, trying to find my way. Show me the way, show me the way. Lord, show me. Got my head high, but I'm feeling low, low, low. Lord, I need your direction, let me know, no, no. Show me the way. Yes, sir. Show me the way. Yes, sir. Show me the way. Show me, Lord, show me. Show me.
Remember that life is better when we do it together.
Peace.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Happily Ever After here at 3C. We are so excited that you carved out some time this evening to come and work on your marriage. The most important relationship outside of your relationship with Jesus Christ itself that God put into your life. And so we are so excited about where we're going and how we're going to get there. So my name is Joel Huey, and I have the distinct pleasure and honor of serving here at Community Christian Center. And then for those of you who may be with us for the first time, I want to let you know kind of what our ministry is all about. So when God put this ministry in Pastor's heart, he gave him a vision. And the vision is to make us changing people with the love of God. And the way we go about doing that is through our motto, which is life is better when we do it together. And we want to do life better together with you. So we're going to give you an opportunity to connect with us here at Happily Ever After in just a few minutes. But what is 3C all about? Why do we do all of the things that we do? Well, God called Pastor into the ministry. He told him to become a soul winner. And that's what we do here at 3C. So we have a team. We call it the SWAT team. It stands for Soul Winning Around Town. And we want to say thank you to all of our partners who are out there working diligently to win souls for Christ. And so for those of you who are virtual partners or even our physical partners, we want to encourage you. Share the love of Jesus Christ. Tell your story and welcome someone into the kingdom. And when you do that, we simply ask that you reach out to us, send us a phone call, give us a text message, let us know. Because when we get to heaven, we want to hear God say, well done. I gave you a job to do, and you got that job done. Now, for those of you who don't know, we have a souls goal set up for this year. We're trying to win 20 souls for Christ. We got one down. We need 19 more. So we want to encourage you to participate. And here's how you can do it, by joining our SWAT team. Now, this is what you got to do to join the SWAT team. Share this broadcast. Hit the button. Share this broadcast. And you just joined the 3T SWAT team. And an opportunity for you to help us spread the love of Jesus Christ all around this great nation. For those of you who are with us for the first time on our Facebook page, we want to encourage you to hit the like button, turn on notifications, make us one of your preferred groups. And if you're with us for YouTube on the first time, we want you to subscribe. Help us reach 3C 1,000 as we move through spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ through all this great land. So thank you for those of you who are participating. And thank you for those of you who are signing up for SWAT team today by sharing our message. Now, for those of you who want to connect with us a little bit more, you want to dig in a little bit deeper, you want a closer understanding of all the things we do here at Happily Ever After, here's what you do. Text the word happy. Text the word happy to 804-925-1466. When you do that, you're going to get a connect card. We're going to ask you for 2 pieces of information. We need your name and your email address so we can share with you pastor's nuggets. We can share with you some marriage tips. All of those wonderful pieces of information that we have available to you. We want to make sure that you get it hot off the press. So once again, text the word happy. 804-925-1466. Fill out the connect card. You are connected to our marriage ministry here at Community Christian Center. We love you and we appreciate you, and a great opportunity for you to grow in that space. Last thing for me, Sunday morning, right? The doors are going to open at 10:15, and we want you in the place. So make sure that you carve out some time. Get up, get in the car, come on back to church, worship with us on Sunday morning. We're going to have a great time celebrating this wonderful tour we've been going through gospel music. Pastor's got a word to help you get out of it. And we want to encourage you to come on out and spend some time with us. So now, for those of you who are waiting, I have the distinct pleasure and the honor of introducing to some and presenting to others our lead pastor here at Community Christian Center. Put your hands together. Give me some hearts and some thumbs up for Pastor Julius White. Y'all welcome him in here on tonight and say hello. Give him a good shout out on today.
Woo! What's happening, y'all? What's up, fam? Good to see everybody out on tonight. Big love to those that have joined us in the building, and especially to you that have connected with us via our social media outlets. Welcome, welcome, welcome to 3C. Welcome to Happily Ever After, the husband edition. So, you guys know by now that's Pastor Joe. That is not Pastor Karen. That is not my boo-boo.
Not that kind of ministry.
It's not that kind of ministry at all. So, yeah.
We ain't mad at you, but we ain't joining you either.
Hey. So, here we are, man. We haven't done this in a while.
That's true.
We get to talk. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to share. But I also want you to invite, because we're going to share from the heart of a husband on the night. We're going to share from our experiences, from our good, our bad. We're going to become a little exposed on tonight, and hopefully by sharing our scars, our our journey, it may strengthen you and yours, or hopefully allow you to avoid some circumstances and situations altogether. So if you're a young husband, lean in. If you've been in the game a little while, hey, stay tuned and share, if you get ready to get married, guys, you definitely want to take advantage of tonight. We don't get to do this often. I love doing this ministry with my wife, but the heart of the husband is kind of cool. I enjoy the heart of the husband's editions. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, let's get into this, right?
Buttons, but I'm ready.
Let's get into this. So tonight we're going to talk about, our successes, our struggles, our truths. And really, here's what every woman wants: a good husband. So let's help first define what that looks like, what it feels like, what it functions like, and, the struggle to become. Because here's the assumption, is that because you're male, you're a husband.
Hey, yeah. I was going to even take you a little bit further back than that, because here at 3C, one of the things that Pastor has taught us, and if you learn nothing else but this from him, you will have a blessed life. If you miss the fine, you'll miss the sign. And I don't think people even have a clue what a good husband is.
Well, okay, because that's a good challenge. Let's step back. Let's move past good, and let's get to defining what a husband is.
Right.
And I think, and we have a lady's opinion in the house tonight, so we're gonna mic her up and let her chime in at times, just to keep the perspectives on point. So, Sister Tima, you can grab you a mic, but let's get started. So, Jay,
right,
you've been a husband
a couple times,
but an accumulative of.
I have been married a total of 27 years.
27 years. Wow.
27 years of my
and
life. Took 3 women to get there, but
I've been married 32 years, 33 in June. And June 17th. June 17th it will be 12,040 days. 12,040 days. Yes, I have counted the days.
That's right. That's right.
The
You
Lord,
know,
the Bible says, Lord, teach us to number our days. So yes, I know the number. 12,040 days. So cool. All right, so 27 years, 33 years. I think that's roughly about 60 years.
yeah, that's about 60 years.
Wow, of being
395 dog years.
okay. So let's here's the challenge.
Okay.
Because normally you always challenging me. Tonight the mic is mine. I'm sitting in the challenger's seat. So if Joe of 27 years met Joe ready to enter into year one, and he said, "What am I as a husband?" Your answer would be,
My answer would be you are the peace of the home. You are the mental peace. You are the financial peace.
okay,
You are the strength
okay.
peace, and you are the fix-it
The
peace.
fix-it piece.
You are the peace,
You're the
piece of the home.
Okay.
And what I have learned through my years is that the word husband, or the definition, or the defining characteristics or traits, of a husband that the average people point to are the obvious visual ones. It's the other ones that people overlook, and that's where we struggle the most with as men, because we see, if you had a father in the home, right, who modeled fatherhood, who modeled being a husband, you only saw the best parts of husbanding from him, right? He never showed you in the model all of the other things that went into being a husband. So you think you know what being a good husband is, and you really don't have a full understanding.
So, Tima, help us out since you're here tonight. What does the dictionary say, or how does the dictionary define the word husband? Because I think it says something simple like married to a wife, or a man who has a wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is so not true, So when I think about it, and here's what I've grown into, definitely not where I started, but what I've grown into and understanding my role as a husband. If I wrapped it up in one word, it would be leader. That there is no way you can function successfully as a husband and not develop your leadership qualities. Why? Because of all the things that Pastor Joe just said.
Yeah.
You're going to be dependent on to fix it. You're going to be dependent upon for the peace, for the prosperity of it, for the comfort, for the protection. So you have to take time to develop yourself as a leader.
Yeah.
If you're going to successfully be a husband. So if you're, hey, ladies or gentlemen, if you're shouting notes and you're, making your notes and whatnot, first thing you want to do is you want to understand that my role as a husband requires me to lead. What you got, Tima?
The noun definition is a married man considered in relation to his spouse. But the verb version is use economically, conserve.
Wow. So
the piece of the puzzle that you see, I mean, you can even use the happily ever after logo, right? We associate that with being a husband, and in reality, that only lasts a few hours. And so a lot of times I think people struggle with the idea of the concept because you say, I want a good husband. But you really don't understand what that means.
But I think that's the conflicting thing when you start talking to a husband and a wife, and I want to be a good husband, I want a good husband, but then they don't have the same definition.
That's right.
Which means now, if we don't have the same definitions, there is no way we're having the same expectations.
Right.
So I'm being a good husband based upon my definition of a good husband.
Right.
I'm failing you based upon your definition
That's right.
of a good husband, because your definition places expectations upon me that I have not factored into my definition of being a good husband. So here's another key. Note, we said that first you had to be a good leader. Well, one of the great qualities of being a very good leader is the ability to communicate.
Right.
What's the struggle for most men is the ability
That's right.
to communicate.
Yeah.
And until you embrace, you gotta, and I get that there are responsibilities, but first you gotta see yourself more than a responsibility
That's right.
in your home.
That's right.
You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't just get caught up on the thing that I'm responsible for this, I'm responsible for that, because that's all you'll see yourself as. And then watch this, when the gratification for that doesn't come back at the way you think it should, now you're angry at everybody because they don't appreciate you.
Right.
No, that's just a part
Yeah.
of what I do. But who I am in my home is the visionary for my home. I am the influencer of my home. And I'll tell every husband, and I had some pushback, but your house look just like you.
Just like you.
The way that you're leading is exactly how your house looks. So if you don't like how your house looks, change how you're leading.
Yeah.
Because your children are going to follow you. If you're chaotic, your children will be.
That's right.
You-
The dog will even be.
Everything will be. But why? Because it's subjected to the influence that's on your life.
That's right.
Paul writes, and is it Ephesians, y'all? Ephesians 5?
5.
And he talks about the wives being submitted to their husbands. And most men just immediately think that means I'm the boss, I'm the captain of this ship, do what I say do. And it's not. It really puts the onus on man to lead his house.
That's right.
So I can't pound my chest and say I'm the man of this house and not be leading, because then I'm not the man of the house.
That's right.
Which is why the house is chaotic, because there is no leadership flowing from headship.
I think one of the things that you said about that specific vein a while ago helped me to understand that she's called to submit to the mission, right? It's submission, right? It's not sub-man. It's submission. So she submitted to the mission. Well, what's the mission for your family? Right? And if you don't have a vision for your family or a mission for your family, she has nothing to submit to.
So when Pastor K and I get the good pleasure of doing marriage coaching, we don't call ourselves marriage counselors, we do marriage coaching, especially for couples that are ready to enter into marriage. That's one of the first things that we start pushing them on. What's the vision for your marriage? Because God didn't create anything without vision. He had a vision for marriage. So what's the vision for your marriage? What's the vision for your home? Because if you don't have it, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle because, again, it's chaos. There is no order. See, the great thing about surviving my early years to get to my pleasurable years is the wise me looks back at those foolish years, and I don't dismiss them. I extract the lessons learned out of them so they become teachable moments for somebody else.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because in people don't realize that family was modeled to you, right? Whether you got it from your actual family, you got it from television, You got it from somewhere, right?
Right,
Family was
right.
modeled, right? So you have this idea or this concept in your mind of what family looks like and how it functions. Then you go get married to another human being that was modeled, family was
Yeah,
modeled
yeah.
in a completely different way to them. And you all missed the very first and most important aspect of marriage, and that is agreement.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We got to agree on a certain couple of things. And the first one are those simple definitions.
Yeah.
And so for me in my first marriage, my first wife, some of you have heard me say this, my first wife was my trophy wife, Reverend. So I got married about 2 months after I graduated from college. No, 1 month after we graduated from college,
Lord.
we were married, right? And then a month after that, I sat her on the shelf. And I was like, baby, I'm going to be right back, right? So I'm 20, right? So, I'm thinking I'm going to have the whole world taken over by the time I'm 20 and a half. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, sit right here, and I'm going to go take over the world, and then I'll be right back, right? So my expectation, which I never discussed, which I never explained, I just assumed she
You did
understood.
what?
I assumed that she understood that my understanding of a wife's role was that you were going to fill in my gaps.
Right.
And I was gone 20 hours a day, so there was plenty of gaps. So I would come back home and I'd be like, you ain't filled in none of the gaps, right? And she looking at me going, I don't fill in gaps. Because the model that she learned, that wasn't, that wasn't how it was presented.
In behavioral health, it's called culture awareness.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But it's another thing that we talk about is what you're actually talking about is being aware of your model and understanding that your partner's model may look nothing like your model. Now, here's the thing. This is what cultural awareness or cultural competency says. It says that I have the ability to first identify my own culture.
Right.
And accept my culture, then to be aware of yours and your acceptance of your culture. Now, when we come together, we got to create
A new one.
our culture,
That's right.
right? Which now think about what it says. It says, henceforth shall a man leave his mother and father, cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one.
Right.
That becoming one is the hardest process.
Oh, most definitely.
It's the part where most people end up divorced because becoming one means I now have to reject the culture in which
That's right.
I've grown up in, the culture that's literally has structured me.
Defined.
And defined me. That's a great word. Now watch. When I say reject it, that doesn't mean you forget it. It's impossible for you to forget.
That's right.
And you need to be aware of it. What it says is that now can't be the dominant thought in our, in this new relationship.
Yeah.
And both individuals have to get there. And you will hear it.
Yeah.
You sit down and you start talking to people about the problems we have, and the first thing she'll say is, I'm not his mama.
Right.
Well, what do you mean you're not his mama? He expects me to do this, and then watch. That's mama duty to her.
Right.
To him, it may be, this is what my mama did for my daddy. So that's wife duty.
That's right.
And that what now, just like you said, there is no there is no agreement, so it's just chaos. But you gotta get this, guys. You gotta be willing to embrace the chaos.
That's right.
See, most of us want to run away from the chaotic moments. You got to learn how to thrive in chaos if your marriage is going to survive.
And the interesting thing about that running away from the chaos is in your mind, you've bought into the lie. And the lie says that there is a soulmate out there for me, right? And what people think their soulmate is this person who's just so connected to them that they don't have to communicate with them at all. She's supposed to just know that I like my coffee with this type of cream in it stirred 37 times. And and so it's I'm searching for this person who I don't have to talk to that's supposed to know everything.
It's just this osmosis, this what is the thing called when they read
mental
your
telepathy,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And my current wife wants me to have to tell her everything. So I'm gonna leave her and then go find this other person.
And the crazy thing is how that flows both ways. Like I said, we've been in conversation, and it's been like, well, he should know that. Yes. Why? That's my question.
Where they teach that at?
Why should he know that?
Yeah.
Did you tell him? No. Did you draw him a map, a picture? No.
Write it on the screen, something. No.
Text, email? No. He should know. Why should he know? Why should she know?
Because my expectation, right, of my partner is that if we are truly in tune, right, they will just know these things about me.
That's a great point that, everybody's talking about their perfect mate and their perfect match. And I'm like, if you truly ask me 32 years later, it's a falsity. It's fairy tales.
Yep.
It's TV. And it'll make you miss some great people that could have really helped you live a great life looking for Mr. Perfect. There is no Mr. Perfect, and what makes Mr. Right is the willingness of both of us to work.
And it's one of those interesting things that attract people to marry people. People don't understand what the attraction is to a married man. The thing that's attractive about a married man is he's broken. That's what's attractive about him. He's done the hard work, right? You say it all the time. People tell Pastor K that, I wish I could find me a one like Pastor J. And he like, well, which version would you, right? Because this version of you is great, but you had to live through the other version to get to
Ask her about them first 14 before you get excited about this last.
They say
16,
he was Julius
17.
before he became pastor.
Hey, and it's crazy. I always honor my wife because I think she just had a stick-to-itiveness that I don't know if I would have had.
Right.
If the shoe was flipped, so I am grateful.
I tell Tima, I was like, you had two really, really good pruners. Honestly, right? By the time Tima and I got married, she just had a little molding and a little shaping to do.
Some sanding down the rough edges.
Like she didn't have to take the hammer and the chisel and be like, is it a man in there?
Anywhere.
Somewhere in there, and so, those, we all have that. You're not going to find that person that's ready-made for you that you don't have to talk to.
So, one of the things I want to make sure that we understand is that where we are now, I think we're both clearly articulating is not where we start, and we're not judging anybody where they are or their walk. We are hopefully just trying to help you better matriculate yours, so you don't hit some of the same stumbling blocks that we have. And I want to be clear, to say this, that guys, you have to embrace, and I know, sometimes that's hard, especially if you come from a home where there was no, father figure, or that there was no type of model. Yeah. There was no reflection in the mirror, so you have no idea what you're supposed to look like.
Right.
So you're starting from scratch.
Right.
But here's the thing about it, Jay, is that you are. Mm-hmm. So many times, and myself included, I use that as an excuse for poor behavior.
Right.
But the thing about it is, in actuality, since 7 years old, since about somewhere between 5 and 7, I knew I didn't know my father.
Right.
It's not a major surprise at 24, 25 when I'm getting married that I didn't know. You know, it's
Right.
not this new revelation like, oh, by the way, you didn't know your father.
Like, man, they have fathers?
So the fact that I've always
Right.
known, watch this, at some point in time, the mature thing for me would have been to find me a role model. And guys, I want to tell you, man, there is nothing wrong with having a coach.
Nope.
Because that's what your role model is. And if you are a manly man and you don't want another man telling you what to do, or you don't want to subject yourself to another man's authority, okay, don't look at it as a role model or a father figure. Go get a coach. If you played any kind of sports,
Yep.
you've always
Yep.
interacted with a coach. And if you played any kind of sports and you've interacted with a coach, you know that the
Yep.
position of coach comes with influence and authority
Yeah.
over the players.
Yeah.
So, you know, my heart, man, don't allow your past to really dictate your presence, you know, and then mess around and just ruin your future. Yeah, it happened, but at some point you got to get over it.
Yep.
And you got to embrace it, and you got to go get, watch this, you got to go get what you need instead of expecting what you need just to show up.
You brought up a valid point. I was talking to a close friend of mine, and he was sharing with me the troubles that he and his wife were having, and he kept rattling off all the stuff that he does, right? I do this, and I do that, and I do this, and I do that, and she don't appreciate this, and she don't appreciate that, and you know, his example is that his job, he had to go to work all through the pandemic. He was an essential worker. So his wife and his kids, and they don't have small kids anymore. I think their youngest child's like 7 or 9 or something. You know, so they're home all day. So he comes home, and his wife wants him to help around the house. And he was like, well, I don't mind helping around the house, but y'all been home all day. Like, y'all messed up the house. Why I got to come home and clean up the house when it's you and these 3 kids? They not little kids, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, these 3 kids, they should be able to do the cleanup stuff that you want me to do. And he never really understood what she was saying. What she was saying was, come and do something with me. That's what she was saying.
Wow.
Right? She wasn't saying, wash the dishes or mop the floor, or that's not what she was saying. She was saying, come into my space where I am and do something with me, right? And he could not hear that. And the thing I tried to get across to him, I was like, while men and women both speak the same language, we both speak English, we don't bit more speak the same language than a man and a Martian, right? She's saying one thing to you, you're hearing something completely different and making your decisions based upon misinformation.
There again takes us right back that your main role in your house is to be the leader. And one of the main responsibilities or one of the main characteristics of leading is communication.
Yes, sir.
So you become responsible for the effective communication happening in your home.
Right.
Yeah, not your wife. And see, that's hard because, again, you can't beat your chest and say, I'm the man, and give me the biggest pork chop or give me the biggest piece of chicken, but then don't want to stand in that place all the time, but only when it's beneficial to you.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. That's a position that lacks integrity.
Yeah.
That you want to say one thing, but do something totally different. That's a lack of integrity. Your words don't match your actions. So here's the thing. When you are the leader, and I had to learn this because I struggled to tell Karen anything, how I felt, what I wanted,
Right.
what I didn't want. Struggled. And it was killing our marriage because I didn't know how to effectively, look at the adjective, effectively communicate. And here's a simple way to understand if you are effectively communicating. Something is said, something is received, something manifests, and they all look the same.
Yep.
That's when you know that we are effectively communicating. There is an exchange.
There's an exchange.
Something is said. It provokes an action. Something is done. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then it manifests, it produces. But all of it got to look the same. Because if it doesn't look the same, it was ineffective communication.
That's right.
If the instructions tell you that A goes into B, not D, and you are hell-bent on putting A into D, whatever that is that you're trying to, it is not going to be effective. It's not going to function as it was designed to. And your marriage will never function as it was designed to.
That's right.
Except you first learn how to have effective communication.
And it's so valid that you bring that up because there's such a difference in the way men communicate versus the way women communicate. You know, men are programmed problem solvers, even though we're not very good at it. We're programmed problem solvers. And so when your wife comes to you and she's just sharing information, right? You are a programmed problem solver, right? So one of the things, and I when I talk about marriage, I tell y'all real stories, so y'all just laugh at me. So one of the funny things was, you know, when you go from one marriage relationship to another marriage relationship, you bring the baggage from one into the next. So, you know, one of the things that my ex-wives always talked about was I never helped with, you know, significantly helped with chores around the house, right? So now, you know, I overdo it, right? I go the whole other end of the spectrum. And one of those areas is washing clothes, right? And so you have your way of washing clothes. She has her way of washing clothes. So, you know, for me, you put them in the washing machine, you put them in the dryer, you put them away. Well, Tima has clothes that don't go in the dryer, which does not compute in my brain because all of my clothes either go to the cleaners or they go in the dryer. And I don't have no in between clothing
I feel you, team. I got some don't dry that stuff
I don't have none of that. It's go to that stuff. Go to the.
I feel you.
They go to clean. And so here we are. And she'll say, you know, or we'll be talking, and I'll be like, you know, I'm getting ready to wash clothes, right? Well, she got this whole stack of clothes over here, Jay, that don't go in the washing machine. So I done washed all the clothes, right? And then she got this set of clothes that don't go in the washing machine, and she be like, you just left these here. Yeah. Because it does not compute. You know what I'm saying? I can't connect the two dots together, right? So effective communication, right? So we had to figure out how, because I'm frustrated, because you mad because I didn't wash your clothes. You frustrated because I washed clothes and didn't wash your clothes, right? We're not effectively communicating, right? So we said, okay, look, I'm going to make these 3 piles or 4 piles or whatever, right? Put your stuff in. Now, before I put them in the dryer, I'm going to say, hey, babe, the clothes is finished. Do you have any in here that need to not go in the dryer? Yes. Okay. So now we effectively communicate. Her stuff gets hung up. My stuff goes in the dryer. Works good.
We laughing, but that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
And like, why does it have to be that much work? Because marriage is work. It is constant, consistent work. And if you don't want to do the work, please don't get married. Stay single. Because it's not about always pleasing somebody. It's learning how to to agree with the person that you come in covenant with.
Right.
So you have to learn how to find agreement, how to get along with that person. And again, remember, we're coming from 2 different cultures. We are both have to be culture aware and then have a competency to understand now we are responsible for developing the culture of our home. And yes, it might, comprise some of the things that are comfortable for you, for me, but we understand that the basis of it has to be what we agree upon together. You know, it's the same with handling money. Mm-hmm. You know, I laugh. People, I got my account, she got her account, and then we got the house account, and she don't know what's in my account. He don't know I got this account over here, and I got this money hidden, and then you hear stuff like, not my getaway or what my rainy day, or basically if he mess up,
Yeah.
I didn't stash money, and I'm like, man, to me all that's a setup.
Yep.
One, Karen, we ain't have enough money for but one bank account, all right? The other ones would have been open with nothing. They would have been full of hope.
Maybe one day I can have me some
we'd
getaway
have about
money.
4 hope accounts because we ain't have enough money for anything else, which made us have to learn how to trust each other with everything, and now, it's easy now. Of course, there's a rebellious spirit. This my money. I know we've all said, this my money. I work for this money. Yeah, bro. But you work for this money for the covenant connection that you made and to support
That's right.
that covenant that you made. That's why God said he gave you the ability to get wealth was to keep the covenant.
It's interesting. So I like that one trips up a lot of people, primarily because you don't really understand how money works. And what you're really trying to do is shield the fact that you really don't know how money works from the other. That's really what you're trying to hide, right? Because you got X amount of dollars and she got X amount of dollars and it's X amount of bills, right? So somebody don't know what they doing, right? And so what you got to let the person that's best at handling the transactions handle the transactions. But I go back to your original point, right? There's still leadership.
No, that's not still.
Well,
that is.
Yeah. And that's the visionary part,
Yeah.
of what we're doing and where we're
going.
going.
And a strong leader recognizes his or her weaknesses.
That's right.
I am not good at that. What? You are? Now watch this. That from now on, that's your assignment. What did I just do? I led. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I was still the leader. Yeah, she handles that. But ultimately,
Right.
I'm still influencing. And it's not like I can't go find out what's happening if she's over the money. It ain't like she done took it and you can't.
But the interesting thing about that concept in reality, right? So see, if your spouse is submitted to the mission, right, and you're leading the mission, right, then everything else in your house lines up.
That is
right?
wonderful.
Now, if she is the visionary, right, here's the problem. She's the visionary. She's running the mission, right? You are the one that's not in submission. So you wrecking havoc all in your house because ain't nobody submitted to me. You're not the one that's running the mission. In this particular case, it's your job to submit to the mission.
And
You're
here's
causing
thing.
the problem.
Paul says that we're still in the Ephesians 5. Submit yourselves one. Matter of fact, before he even gets to husband, submit to your wife, husband loves your wives, wives submit to your husband. The very thing, I think it's 5:20 or 5:21, the very first thing Paul says is, submit yourselves one to another.
That's right.
Now here's this. Run that back to Genesis. Genesis 1. And he blessed them, both male and female, and told them to subdue. So there is an authority that rests on both
That's
of
right.
you. Watch this. There's a blessing that rests on both of you. Together, you get to subdue whatever land or
Right.
opportunity or life that's being presented to you. Together, you are to subdue.
And as long as you have that mindset, go ahead.
Yeah, because you made a good point. And now watch, when you think about it from that perspective, if she is the visionary and I do submit to her, does that make me a less of a man? No. That makes me a wise man that understands the blessing. Oh, God, that's good. Yeah, because then you'll turn around and quote, he who finds a wife findeth a a good thing, but then not recognize, watch, because you're in this power struggle
Right.
and you ego tripping, that you don't even recognize your good thing
That's right.
has a blessing on her life. And if you just allow her to be the blessing and to control this and to influence this, and you cheer her on or you support or
Yeah.
become submitted to, man, because at the end of the day, if it blesses her, it's blessing
That's right.
me, and it's blessing the we or us. It ain't like it's just gonna bless her and
that's
she gonna
the-
take all the blessing and go in the other room.
And that's the crazy thing about it is we don't understand that submitting to the mission, we both win. Fighting against the mission, we both lose.
Here's the thing. I read this, and I'm gonna give him his credit. Miles Monroe said that it's the institute of marriage that's perfect, not the people in it. He said the people in a marriage will never be perfect, but the institute of marriage that was created by God
Yep.
was perfect. It's perfect in every way. He says, so what you have is two flawed people entering into a
Right.
perfect institute. So it's never the question of the marriage. It always comes back to the question of the individuals.
Yep.
It is nothing to improve the institute
No.
of marriage. It's perfectly designed by God. But there's always an opportunity for the individuals that enter into that institute to mature, to develop, till they begin to understand and value their marriage
That's right.
more
That's right.
than themselves.
That's right.
And most of us, if we're honest, no, not most of us, all of us come into the marriage valuing ourselves more highly than we value the marriage.
And you hear that a lot in coaching. You hear them say that. I don't want to lose myself, right? Your marriage is doomed if you don't want to lose yourself, because it's designed for two people to be as one. And after you've been with somebody for a period of time, you know, I can just about tell you, based upon the situation, how my wife is going to respond. Right? Give me the scenario, and I can pretty much tell you how Tima's going to respond, with very few exceptions to that rule, right? Now, how do I know that? Because I've been stupid enough to have done
I
that
already did
multiple times to see how she has responded to that situation,
That's
right?
how that works.
Yeah, that's how that works. So, like, in personal finances, I'll give you the example of that. So my wife manages millions of dollars. And her job trusts her to keep track of millions of dollars. It insults her intelligence when I ask her about $27. She get real mad, Jay. I mean, like, real mad. Like, did you really come in here and ask me about $27, right? Now, for me, it's, we had to work on how we gonna have these conversations, right? Because it's not the $27 that I'm really asking about. And I had to get her to understand that it's the structure of the plan that I'm working on next requires me to understand where that $27 comes from and how it came into play. That's why I'm really asking about the $27. But she was like, you can't ask me about it that way, right? You got to come at me with a different tone, right? So I tried to approach her like you do at work, right? We're going to have a meeting, right? This is our meeting. We're going to get together, and we're going to talk about finances during the meeting. She was like, who coming to this meeting? Because I'm not coming. I'm like, what do you mean you're not coming? Like, you have these at work all the time. Why is it different? When your boss can call you and have a meeting about $20 million, you won't have no problem with that. I want to have a meeting about $27. You mad as a firecracker, right? So I had to learn how to effectively communicate with her in that space, right? So, you got to warm Tima up. Hey, babe, sometime in the next few days, when you feeling like it, could it be possible that we sit down and have a conversation? And she'll look at me like, when I feel like it, we can have a conversation. I'll let you know and then we can talk about it. Right, but don't come in here with no whole bunch of questions.
Ooh-wee, that is funny.
You know,
That
and
is
so
funny.
we learn to, you know, effectively
But
communicate.
it is so, and we're having a great time talking about it, but it's the key to the success of your marriage.
Yeah.
You know, Pastor, why is it so important that as a husband, I learn how to effectively communicate? Listen, the Bible has been just replete with great examples. Read Genesis 1. How did God deal with his chaos? He effectively communicated with it until it conformed and became what he had vision for.
Yeah.
He spoke that vision and details to the earth. And the earth just received, submitted, conformed to what God was saying. God ain't had to raise his voice. Man, I'm trying to help some brothers.
Yeah.
God ain't had to beat his chest, raise his voice, get angry, call anybody out of their name.
That's right.
He just effected, watch, he created such a vision for the earth that the earth got excited and wanted to become what God said. You want to lead your house? You want to see your wife get on your side? Man, become a communicator. Paint a picture that is so detailed that they become excited.
That's right.
About.
And she will build it.
Totally submit to it. Put her, watch this, put her authority and her blessing behind it.
That's right.
And then watch, once the work starts, you put on gloves and get right down to building it with you. You'll never have to fight her if you can paint that detailed picture of where we going. It's the thing of follow me and you ain't got a clue.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that because you gave a big marriage key, and a big marriage key that I had to learn was integrity. And integrity is simply doing what you say you're going to do. Where most men fail in their marriages is there. That's the spot that erodes it because you
never
said
meaning to, but we do.
Don't mean to, and it starts off with little small stuff. Like so, for a woman to marry you. First and foremost, right? She is prepared herself to deal with your foolishness. That's just the way it is. She done made up her mind that your level of foolishness is acceptable to her. The problem is you've only shown her
stupidity.
Yeah, you've only shown her one part of your food. Like she ain't seen the other part of it. Now when y'all get together is when she get a full dose of your lack of integrity, right? And it's small stuff, right? Little stuff like, babe, I'm gonna be home at 5 o'clock. You come home at 7:30 with no call.
And then wonder why she questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And never stop to think that I created the question.
Right. I created the question.
I created the question. I'm the one that put the space for doubt.
Right.
Because I lacked integrity.
I lack integrity.
And that's just it. You made a great key. It starts with such small issues, but then they're manipulated. And when you don't communicate, then you leave me to my own
That's right.
thoughts. Now remember, I got a pass.
And a television.
No. The reason I say I got a pass because if this starts to look familiar,
Right.
and it looks anything like a past trauma, I am going to immediately start to protect myself.
That's right.
From where,
Yeah.
I've seen this before. So my mind immediately goes back, psychological responses, to that place, and I begin to either defend myself, wall up, whatever it takes, because here's my thought, ain't nobody ever going to do that to me.
Yeah. And then you get to the point where you're like, she's cold. She's callous. She's pushing me away, right? And you don't understand where it comes, and now you're trying to fix it. And here's where coaching comes in and can help you tremendously, right? When your wife has put her wall up, yelling, screaming, fussing about it, and buying stuff is not going to fix your problem. Because what you have with her is an integrity problem.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have got to start rebuilding that integrity wall, and then she will bring her wall back down.
But and then here's this thing: don't get offended. Don't get offended. Remember, you're the influencer of your home.
That's
so
right.
if it's there, it's what you've influenced.
That's right.
Either through your words or your lack of, your actions or your lack of.
Right.
You have created
Yep.
this space. So correct it.
Fix it.
Correct it. Get it. Be honest with yourself,
Yep.
man. That's why I tell you, I take walks. When we lived in the other house, I went on the 3rd floor. In the house we're buying, I have an office. There's a backyard. There's a shed. And it's a pretty nice neighborhood. They even got a gym about 30 feet from my house. So I'm like, I'm going to be all right.
Yeah.
Why? What do you say all that to say? Because at some point in time, you need to learn the ministry of shut up. Shut up and take a walk. Shut up, go upstairs. You don't have to say everything
Right, that
that
pops.
flashes across the screen, okay? And just because it looked good in your mind, I promise you, don't mean that's what it's about to manifest when
Don't
it
say
comes
that.
out of your mouth.
That's right.
You gotta
Yeah.
you gotta grow to the point where there is a part of you to be like, no, bruh.
And which it
You
leads me
don't
back
wanna say that.
to when you asked me, right, the definition of a husband, and I told you it was peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you begin to learn those little things. And so, like, when Tima and I got married, she had lived the bulk of her life, by herself, like, as an individual, right? So now, we're coming together. She's used to doing things for herself, right? And that's her initial response is, I just did it, right? Even to the point, right? So we're consistently working on this piece of the puzzle. And I recognize that my integrity will push her back into that space,
mindset.
right?
Yeah.
But which is why I'm constantly and consistently learning to work on my integrity. And it pops out in various different things. So she a little distanced away from me so she can't hit me upside the head for telling these stories, right? And so, like, she was going to the doctor, right? So she's going to the foot doctor, right? In her mind, it's a minor little thing. I'm going to the foot doctor. So she was telling me in that morning, I'm going to the foot. Why you just now telling me that you're going to the foot doctor, right? In her mind, it's such a small thing that I didn't necessarily need that information. In my heart, I'm going, anytime you're going to the doctor, I want to do my best to try to be there, or my best to try to understand that you're going to the doctor so I can check on you after the doctor, all of these things. And what I tried to get her to understand was that's an integrity check, right? I see it. You don't see it, but I see it, right? That's an integrity check. And I gotta step my game up in that space because I haven't been integral, right?
Pastor K go to the doctor. I ask now, do I go? I do. Oh, okay.
Right?
But I don't go to this one. Oh, all right.
Right? It's important.
See, y'all laughing at me, but here's my thing, man. If you don't know, ask. If you don't know,
That's right.
ask. And stop assuming that
She would have told you.
she knows what you want. He knows. No.
Yes.
Simply have a conversation, man. It will. I'm telling you, if you learn how to effectively communicate, it will radically change your marriage. 9 times out of 10, when we sit down with couples, you know what it comes back to? Y'all don't know how to communicate.
Yep.
It could be, they can be way and money or whatever the other things are. He don't treat me, he let his family run roughshod, whatever it is. And then, they're giving you all these details.
Right.
And I struggle when your
Listen.
story get too long with details. I ain't gonna lie, man. My adult ADHD kicks in, and I might still be stuck on your point one, and you on. And the fifth thing that he does, I'm like, oh, was 4 in
Is it more?
between? But no, I digress. But is being able to simply communicate, to paint pictures one for another that will radically change your marriage. We hear all that radic, and man, when it comes back down to it, it falls majority of the time in one place.
I was talking with
Y'all can't communicate.
I was talking with a friend of mine, and he's trying to make his marriage work, right? So one of his coworkers told him that he needed to get this book called The 5 Love Languages, and that it had helped their marriage. And he was like, okay, I'll do anything, right? He really wants his marriage to work. So he didn't buy one copy, Jay. He bought 2 copies of the book, one for him and one for his wife. Now, he was smart enough to know not to give it to her himself, so he gave it to his son and said, here, go get this to your mama, right? And I'm waiting for the shooter fall on the other side of this story, because I know exactly how this ended up. And he was all mad. He was like, you know what she said? She said, I don't need to read this. You need to read this. And I was like, the biggest thing about turning your marriage from the direction you don't want it to go to the direction you want it to go has nothing to do with your partner. It has everything to do with you.
Yeah.
Right? Because the word tells us in Corinthians, it gives us this wonderful definition of love. And everybody loves the end of it, right? That love never fails. Everybody but you got to read the Bible forward and read the Bible backwards. And if you read that verse backwards, you start from love never fails, you goes to, love always trusts. Love always protects, right? It's
Doesn't
like
keep record.
Right. And my personal favorite, keeps no record of wrongs. Well, if I keep no record of wrongs, Jay, love can always succeed. The problem is there ain't a man alive that don't have a wife record. So every wife, in case you didn't know, your husband got this mental record he keeps of you. And every time you do something that he don't like, he give you a negative. And every time he do something that he think he should get extra credit for and you don't say nothing about, he add that on his side of the coin. He got a ledger. His is green, yours is red, right? I'm trying, every man got one, right? And he be like, she ain't say nothing about I picked up my underwear and she ain't say nothing about it. That's a negative in her ledger and a positive in mine, right? And that's the trouble, is you're not following the path.
Expectations. I don't know how much time we have left.
Me either.
But developing reasonable expectancies one of another.
Right.
Stop. Hey, listen, don't go into your marriage expecting your spouse to rescue you. That's not their assignment. Mm-hmm. To complete you, to make you happy, that's not their assignment. It just simply is not. I think that's one of the big things. Yep. Is you hear it all the time. They just don't make me happy. Well,
you don't make you happy. You ain't divorcing you.
Did you really go in with the expectancies that was their job? Did you marry a clown? Because if you didn't marry a clown,
And if you did, now you mad because he a clown.
He a clown, yeah, But yeah, that's just, you got to have realistic expectations. Hey, sex is great, but it don't work at the bank. It doesn't work with your credit. No. So you can't get married for sex. You can't get married based upon how one, looks, how they make you feel, because your feelings are just in that moment.
They're temporary.
Yeah, they're temporary. So you better get married finding some agreement and finding some like expectations. Mm-hmm. Are we headed in the wrong direction? I mean, the same direction.
Right.
Because one of the hardest things to do is to change a person's mind.
Oh, most definitely.
Or to change their direction. And I laugh at women. Well, I'm going to fix him.
Yeah, he gonna
no,
fix
you about to get your heart broken.
That's right.
I'll be back about 6 months. And in 6 months,
He gonna be
cussing
worse.
him slam out. He this, he that, he ain't this, he ain't that. Why? No. He was never headed in the same directions or had the same expectancies for his life that you did. You thought that if you got on the train with him, you could become the conductor and turn the train in the direction that you wanted to go in. What you found out is that he was hell-bent on going in the direction that he was going with or without you.
You know, it's interesting that you brought up that point because, you know, expectations is the, in my opinion, the biggest premarital conversation you need to have, right? So, like, talking to another friend of mine, and he's like, man, my wife don't want to go nowhere. He like, she don't want to move. She don't want to, right? She just literally wants to stay where we are. And I want to go this and do here and move there and do this and get more. And she's good right where we are. And I was like, well, bro, let me ask you a question. Did y'all discuss expectations in the beginning? He was like, no, I thought she was just going to always want to roll with me the way I'm going. Well, no, right? Because where you want her to go requires her to work 3 jobs for 19 years. And she don't want to do that, right? Your expectation is unrealistic to put that type of expectation on somebody else. And you have to learn to communicate about your expectations. And the second thing, and I give it back to you, is you got to leave room in your marriage for the other person to grow. So the expectations I had at 25,
Right.
I don't have them same expectations at
what
49.
happens when you accomplish them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What happens when you accomplish? We're always growing. So here's a funny thing. Here, you know, because Pastor K way in the back. Here's my funny story, right? We were talking about getting married. We was talking about getting married, and I don't know if Nene was born or not, but you know, we were really talking about, you know, and so I asked her. I was like, well, if we get married, what do you want to do? What are you going to do? You know, what's your career focus? What you going to do? Oh, I'm going to stay home.
That's right.
I'm going to stay home and be a housewife. And you know, I'm just going, that's what my
expectation
that's
is.
my You're not the one. And it was funny. It was funny because we were young, but I was like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Now I don't know. She might know better than me if I said it right, but I know I was clear. That, no, that's not what I'm looking. I'm looking for a business partner. I'm looking for somebody that want to do life. I ain't looking for somebody I got to drag up the steps.
You did the Matumbo on
Yeah,
it. No. Not in my house.
You know. But here's the thing. It was like, I really liked her. But if that's where she was headed, that was going to be a problem.
Right.
Look, I've been poor all my life, boy. I tell y'all with pride, I was a food stamp and welfare baby. So coming out of college, my mindset was like, I don't ever want to experience that again. I may not ever become the richest man in the land, but what I'm not going to be is the brokest one.
That's right.
Even though I sure hung around some brokenness for many a years.
I dabbled with the familiar.
Lacking integrity, but that was my thought. That was what I was communicating with her, was like, if that's what you're looking for, seriously, I'm not the one, because that doesn't fit or fulfill my expectancies at all, and we're going to have problems right out the gate. We're going to have problems, so let's not even, you know.
That's right.
So I'm going to ask you this again, and you need to either fix your answer or find another friend, because, you know, I'm not the one there, and there is no need of us, you know, wasting good time. Yeah.
Say dating is collecting data, and that was the data.
That's the data I needed right there, bro. Oh.
Question number 1 on the Getting to Know You list.
Yes, sir. What's your expectation? And why you said that in jest it ought to be some of the things that, maybe not your first date, but if you're at that third and fourth date and you invest in your time, it's time to start to understand, okay, what's your dreams, what's your vision, what's your plan, where you going?
Yeah.
And why get on board with a person not going in the same direction that you are?
Right.
Hoping to change their direction.
And the other piece of the puzzle there too, Jay, is a lot of people try to do it the other way, which is, she don't want to go, I'm going to go anyway. That don't work either. That don't work either, because now nobody's submitted to the mission. So now you're dragging the train all by yourself. And one of the things I brought into my marriage with Tima was, in my previous marriages, I was unable to share my visions, where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do, because I lacked integrity. So my ex-wives didn't ever believe in none of the things that I said I wanted to do, because I couldn't tie my shoes right? So it's like, yeah, bro, okay, you're going to take over the world, but you can't tie your shoes. So when Tima and I got married, my dreams, Jay, right, were so fragile, right? And your wife, can crush a dream, right? I mean, she can stomp on that joint, put fire on it, and roast it up to the gods, right? And so I wouldn't share them with her until I knew for certain that I could make it happen, right? And for a long time, I kept that to her. And then as we started working together, communicating and learning to trust each other, I got to the stage in my life where I'm like, I can now, Jay, share a dream that literally is a dream. Like, I have no idea how this is going to happen, but I just know it's going to happen. And I can share that with her, and we can actually talk about it and talk through it. But that's because we worked on our communication and expectations.
Yeah, and that defines, or reveals a trust factor. There is a trust factor there that I can show you my dreams. My struggle, and probably one of the last things we could get into, understanding how to succeed as a husband. We said there's a leadership factor. There was being the effective communication, and we're all just characteristics of your leadership. You got to be an effective communicator. You have to set realistic expectancies, but you got to be focused. You have to be able to focus. And that was my struggle, Jay. For multiple years, I lacked the ability to focus. And focus is what allows you to create vision. See, I had it interchange words, and if you misdefine, you miss a sign. I had imagination, but I didn't have focus for vision.
Yeah.
And imagination is just like dreams. It is just broad all over the place. I had the ability to imagine. I lacked the discipline to focus, to create vision. And unfortunately for me, it took me many years to learn the difference between having imagination and then having the discipline to bring your imagination into focus to create your vision. See, people can't do what's in your imagination.
No.
Come on, man.
No.
Y'all, man, don't make me tear up. People can't do what's in your imagination, but when you focus it and you create vision, and you can cast that vision, now people around you can support you.
That's right.
And get involved, because imagination lacks lines. There are no borders. There are no limits. It's just, woo.
Man, Jay, you preaching good there. So, like, when I was a younger man in my very first marriage, my imagination lasted about 15 seconds, right? I imagined that I was going to be able to take over the world with this. So I ran after that for 10 minutes. And then that didn't work fast enough. So then I heard about this other idea. So then I would run over here to this other idea, because it was supposed to get there faster. And I done dropped this thing that I just told her last week. This was going to be it. This was the one. This one going to take us to the top, right? And so she gets geared up for that. And as soon as she got on board with that mission, I done dropped that one. and I done ran over here, right? I did that for a long time. Then you look back and you go, well, how come she don't support none of the stuff that I do? Because you don't actually do nothing. Right?
But you imagine yourself doing it, right?
You did something.
Because your imagination can become so vivid that you are actually working, you're focused, and you are nowhere near any of that.
Right.
And it takes, here another, again, get mentors, get people around you, get iron that sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Allow somebody to help you cultivate what's in your imagination.
Yeah.
To bring it into focus so it can become manifestation.
That's right.
It's great in your imagination.
Great.
But it requires focus, some discipline.
That's right.
Creates vision for manifestation, man. And if you do this, that's why God gave us, man, I know our time up, help meet.
That's right.
And you got to look at that word in the Hebrew because it means opposite yet the same.
That's right.
And I love that. It says, when I looked it up, Jay, it says, as looking in a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
When you look in a mirror, if you hold one thing in your right hand, when you look in the mirror, it's in your left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's opposite yet the same. And that's actually what your helpmeet is. Opposite, but the same. Their strengths may be your weaknesses.
That's right.
Opposite, but the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same marriage, same human beings, same blessings, same anointing on our lives. Opposite. And if you can ever be able to pull that in your imagination, bring it into focus, create vision, now your helpmeet can fulfill their assignment.
That's right.
To what God has put in your imagination. See, we get into it. I'm going to let you go. We think God is responsible for the vision. No. God is responsible for the imagination, the dream. You're responsible for the cultivating, the discipline, the focus that creates vision. Stop thinking God is going to do what he's given you the ability to do. Go ahead, Jay.
So it's like, one of the pieces of that puzzle that connects, right? When you're submitted to the mission and your wife is submitted to the mission, right? Then she fulfills that role that you need her to fulfill honestly, genuinely from her heart, right? So as she sees you focused, she sees you determined, she sees you pushing through, she's going to begin to speak life towards that vision that you so when it's not going exactly the way, or you stumble or you fall or it doesn't fall together. So Tima has this thing that I hate. I can't stand it, Jay.
She cracking up laughing.
She knows I can't stand it. But it literally is the most effective thing at the moment, right? So like when stuff ain't going right, and I'm not feeling it, and I'm woe is me and all that, she'll look at me and she'll go, "You can do it." And I hate it, Jay. I hate it with a passion. I can't stand it when she says it.
What movie is that?
When she does
that the Water Boy?
Yeah, that's the Water Boy.
It's the Water Boy.
Yeah, I can't stand it, Jay. I hate it, right?
That's bad that I know that.
But afterwards, right, I know where it comes from. And it comes from that part of her heart that says, I trust you. That part of her heart that says, I believe in you. She corny, right? But it comes from the right place. And because it comes from the right place, it gets me up.
It's the motivator.
It's the motivator, right?
The motivator.
And she done figured it out. This train right here run pretty good. It's my job to get this train running. And the train look like it's slowing down a little bit. I need to let that train get on.
I love my wife to life, but I'm telling you, in this house buying process, she has pissed me off so many times. Because trying to be the good husband, I'm sharing information. I'm not freaking out, but there are some challenges that we done hit this, and it seems like we'll move and things are going and be the biggest stumbling blocks. So, that's okay. Baby, just slow down, mommy. Just slow down, mommy. Just slow down, okay? That's all I'm asking you to do. Just slow down. Mm-hmm. And the Negro is still doing what she's doing. I'm like, I'm like, do she know how much pressure she putting on me?
Yes.
And it's intentional and she just pushing buttons like, this joker is dogmatic. He is not going to give up, but I got to keep agitating, poking, so he keeps going.
That's right.
You don't become frustrated in the process. But here's the thing. Once you're in this and there's effective communications, you know how to motivate one. See, you got to get past all them years of bickering and all the stupid stuff. If you can live past that, man, you got a person that's on your side, that know how to push your buttons, that know how to say words to you, that know how to motivate you, to know how to get you up and get you going. And there is nothing greater than having a helpmeet that knows how to help.
And the crazy thing about it is the help that you need don't come the way that you want it to come.
No.
Because the thing that
they give you what you need.
They give you what you need. They give you what you need. And you
stop packing them boxes, woman.
Pack them up, Pastor Guy. I'm going to bring you some tape. Right? Because understanding that effective communication is what leads to that. Proper sharing of expectations. So interesting opportunity came for us to buy another piece of property. And this will be our third piece of property for Tima and I together, right? So we've been through this process before, but this was a big one, Jay, right? And so she know how I function when I get to talking, that fixing to happen in some shape, form, or fashion, right? But we've been through this enough that I also understand how I got to bring my wife into it, right? So I'm like, baby, right now I'm dreaming, right? It sounds tangible, but I'm really just dreaming, right? And she got on board in the dream, Jay, right? And now we talking through it from that next phase, right? So it's when you share the expectations and the communication, you develop the trust. All of those pieces of the puzzle, make your marriage work. And it's the times you do it on the good times is there to help you when the challenging times come. If you don't build it on the good things, you don't have it when the hard times come.
Wow. It's time to go. We got to get out of here, man. What a great conversation. Hey, there are a few things. Big ups to Pastor Scales and Pastor Moore for hanging out. I love these guys, man. They are so funny. Hey, Pastor Scales, hey, let's do that, man. That's been in my heart. That's been in my heart, to take this format of happily ever after or whatever relationship matters, whatever you want to call it, and take it outside of the walls of 3C. I love this. Love sharing this platform, and I'm sure others could benefit, and there are so many more that could contribute. So I would love the opportunity to sit down and to plan something out for the summer or for the fall of the year, and let's do it. Let's make it happen. So I don't have a bunch of announcements, and I ain't going to let Pastor Jay give y'all a bunch of announcements. Hey, come hang out with us Sunday morning, right? Sunday morning at 10:30. Doors open at 10 feet, because if I let him talk, I'm saving y'all tonight. Come hang out with us Sunday. And then, hey, special save the date, October, February 27th. See, he like, you ought to let me do what I do. Well, I feel like, yep, sure shoulda. Stay in your lane, white.
Expectations.
But no, on February 27th, right, is conclusion of our Black History, and we are honoring, recognizing our historically Black colleges and university, our historically Black Greek-lettered fraternities and sororities. So to all my frat brothers, to all the frats out there, to all my sisters, the sorors, y'all come and hang out with us. Rock your favorite gear. If you are a graduate of a historically Black college or university, come on out. We want to honor you. And wear your favorite gear to represent your university or college. So I'm finished. Pastor Joe's going to pray us out. I'm going to go and work the camera, and we go on.
Thank you guys so much. But we would be remiss if we did not take an opportunity to give somebody a chance to give their life to Christ. So if you're out there and you don't know this man who we've been talking about, this helper, the comforter, the savior, we want to give you an opportunity to meet him on tonight. So what we're going to ask you to do is text the word winner. Text the word winner to 804-925-1466. Once again, the word winner, 804-925-1466. You're going to get a Connect card. We need your name and your email address. One of the ministers of our church will reach out to you and work with you and lead you into a relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If you're out there tonight and you've fallen away, you've given up, you turned from Christ, we want to give you an opportunity to turn back, rededicate your life to rejoin the community, and let him come in and work with you on you, make you a better husband, make you a better wife, and then, work on your spouse. So same thing, text the word winner, 804-925-1466. Fill out the Connect card. We'll reach out to you and allow you to realign yourself with Jesus Christ. To Pastor's point, join us Sunday morning. Doors open at 10:15. Worship begins at 10:30. We're going to have a great time, and we're looking forward to having you in the place or with us online. Let's pray. Eternal God, our Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. We thank you, Lord, for those who have given their lives to you on tonight. We ask that you forgive them for all of their sins, creating them clean hearts. Mold them and make them into the children of God that you called them to be. We ask the Heavenly Father that you make our thoughts your thoughts, make our ways your ways. Allow us to love, honor, and cherish our spouses as you loved, honored, and cherished the church. And in your Son, Jesus' name, we pray. Amen. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. You want to get some marriage tips, you want some ideas, some strategies, games to play with your spouse. Here's what you do. Text the word happy. Text the word happy, 804-925-1466. Give us your name and your email address. We'll include you. Pastor left and left me with the mic. So we'll give you an opportunity to connect with us and our Happily Ever After team. We love you. Life is better when we do it together. Peace.